Zeus, here's the beat around. Big Zeus, pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Yeah, fuck the beat at people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power to the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Yeah, signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game strong. Freedom is the banner, and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big on a big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hands, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK. Now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Big Zeus, powers in the air. Big Zeus, yeah, we knocking on the door. Big Zeus, we wanna hear your song. Yeah, yeah. Who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. Smart people on them players. Yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true. All I need.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
But you don't know who's on the line. Got the Constitution jumping. Yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my feet.
Shout out, you like 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Thank you.
This power melon vibe, sitting for the block. Yeah, buses making one of five. 1600.
Putting in the year on a high note.
People's house is a trap. Got the power.
W. Rick, thank you, champ.
Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap. I'ma bring it back. In the people's house.
Yes.
Powers in the
air.
It's the people's house. We knocking on your door. It's the people's house. We wanna hear your soul.
All right, Big Zeus. Who is it? Big Zeus. All right, but you know what we got to do? We have to get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. All right, today's the last day of the year. All right, we're going to do what we came to do. And you guys have been so good at doing it now that I think about it, but we're going to do it right now. Oh, you like my glasses? Well, thank you. All right. Fair enough.
When I'm running up these rats, I'm like the Terminator screaming, I'll be back. It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it, look at my grass. Cars in the garage, and tanks full of gas. I play the game so well, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room, screaming how we made it. This is
Good morning, Dolphin. It's your birthday, right, Dolphin? Your birthday? Your birthday, Dolphin? Or did I miss it already? One of the days. I know I missed it. All right. But I missed you too. Good morning, VIP. Today's your day. Well, we're going to sing happy birthday. They don't give me bonuses if they text me. Here it goes. All right. Zeus haters. Zeus hater alert. Here it goes. You never know when you're going to run into it, but here it goes. It always catches me. Zeus hater right here. Here it goes.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Wow.
Shit was
Keep it
radical.
clean, please.
It was horrible. I'm like, you've gone.
Zeus is going way
off the rails.
Oh, give me a break.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
They really feel that way about me.
It's like deja vu.
All right, fair enough. All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host. I'm your pilot. There's a good chance I might have to restart the live. You know how it goes every morning. I get right about here, then they say, oh, We got to stop this thing because it's getting ready to get off the rails. But, you know, we'll go as far as we can, all right? Now, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with me taking care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you tuning into this special broadcast, this might be your very first time, listening to somebody from the United States of America, Democrat state, Democrat city. Shout out to the Bay Area, you know what I'm saying, in California. Handsome, too. This might be your first time tuning in, and so I just want to, wear my manners and introduce myself. I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H, and why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is, well, it's because I am honest. I am the most honest person on social media. There's nobody more honest than me. You might as well pretend like my hands are just resting on a stack of real Bibles, not the Trump Bibles, right? So that's the first H. The second H is, it's because I am humble. Every human being has to live with the reality that they are not perfect. Anyone trying to present themselves and guilt trip you into believing they're right and you're wrong all the time, let's stay away from those folks, all right? No, we play it straight across the middle over here, all right? So the second H is because I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down, bar none. All right, and then there's the last H. There's three H's. The last H, ladies and gentlemen, which is arguably one of the most important H's of them all. It allows me to do things a lot of you really can't do. I'm the Rizzler, you're not. You know what I'm saying? I got lingo for days, so to speak. And on top of that, it comes with a lot of charm and a lot of charisma. The last H, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. You said that. I saw you say that. Thank you so much. Wow, I appreciate it. All right. Now, let's get back to serious business. Many of you know exactly why we gather every morning. What we do is spectacular Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. What we do is sensational. It's diabolical. It's magical. It's almost like a Disney experience in a way, now that I think about it. What we do is we bring Donald Trump's poll numbers back to where they belong. I used to say bring them back to earth, but no, we're bringing his poll numbers where they belong, which is straight in hell. We take what him and his supporters have been saying to us and lying about for all these years, and we hold a mirror up to these demons. Good morning, Ange. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's a Disney experience, and Ange, you know about. You do a great job, Ange, with the way you run your live. I really love how you just make these conservative men confess their sins to you, and then at the end, after these conservative men confess their sins to Ange, they always say, "But I'm in love with you." They go, "But I'm so in love with you." Oh my gosh, you all need to give me a break. But you know, that's how the MAGA demon is. And so what I'll say is this: if there's any Trump voters out here, let me go ahead and say this to you right now. Do not come onto my live, into my comment sections, and start talking about anything other than what I'm talking about on this show. I could care less about the fraud going on in Minnesota. I really could care less, because I know one thing. The fraud that's going on in Minnesota, it's not bothering me like Donald Trump is, and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and the crimes that him and his family are committing, the Trump crime family. What Donald Trump is doing in the White House is the most important thing everybody in the world needs to focus on. And I'm not going to fall for the bait. So do not come onto my show talking about any Democrat cities, fraud going on, because the moment you voted for a felon, a criminal, an adjudicated rapist, you've lost all credibility with Big Zeus. I'm going to stay on the mission, and I'm going to continue to hold every single one of you demons. And I call you demons, and that's me actually being polite, because I got to be nice on TikTok, right? If TikTok wasn't so mean to Big Zeus, I tell you, you all would be in a lot of trouble. So what I'll say is this: if you are a Trump supporter out there, do me a favor and leave my show right now, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you in here. I promise you it will. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Yeah. And with that, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and begin the last show of the year, and I gotta do it. It has to go back to the joke of the year. It's my favorite joke to tell, and I'm so sorry for every single one of you that I've said this joke over and over, but it's the best story and it's the best way to describe the ignorance of Donald Trump and his supporters. And every time I tell it, it's just like I told it for the first time. And he goes, don't do it, Zeus. Don't do it. No, I'm going to do it. The story of the year, and this is the best way to illustrate the MAGA demon, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope they're listening. There was a Trump voter in the state of Texas, red state, had a grand idea that he did not want to be woke anymore. He didn't want to be around Democrats. This is a true story. You can go look this up, fact check me. This really did happen. And it haunts me to this day because I really said to myself, like, wow, he really thought he was smart when he did this. So what he did was he told his family, wife, children, even the dog, you know, because he could speak to dogs, I guess. We're not going to be around the Democrats anymore. I don't want to be woke anymore. And so we're selling everything we have, and we're going to take the money we've made, and we're going to move somewhere where we'll never have to be woke again. So he did this. He did this, ladies and gentlemen. He sold all his worldly possessions and moved him, his family, the dog, all to Russia. The dog is sitting there going, listen, bro, I just want to eat my food and go to the dog park. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not woke. I'm not. The dog and the family, they go to Russia. And Vladimir Putin himself summons them to the Kremlin. I heard you came from the United States and you don't want to be woke no more. Yes, sir, Mr. Putin. President Putin, I don't want to be around those Democrats anymore. I don't want to be woke anymore. Putin says, so you don't want to be woke anymore? No, sir, please do whatever you can. Do not make me be around a woke Democrat ever again. So Putin whispers to one of his generals. The general comes back out. Here, put this on. And it's a uniform for the Russian, from the Russian army. This man, an American-born person, puts this Russian uniform on. And Putin says, wow, that's amazing. No one's ever came from the United States and put that on, and it fit perfectly the first time. And all the other Russian soldiers, they were mad because they had to go and, they don't get this kind of a suit. But this guy got that kind of a uniform from Putin. And so Putin whispers to his other general, and then the other general says, now you come with me. And the general puts him on the back of a donkey. And he rides this donkey for at least, I guess they say 3 to 4 days. 3 to 4 days. He had to eat tuna out of the can. He had to carry his own water. It was just the nastiest, coldest journey this man's ever been on. So when he finally got off the donkey, he ended up on the Eastern Front in the battlefield in Ukraine. And one of those drones, you ever heard about Baba Yaga, I think that's the name of they call the drones that hover, and it dropped something on him, and boom, he disappeared from the face of the earth. His wife hasn't heard from him. The dog's like, where is he going? They go to the Kremlin. Putin, where is my significant other? Where's my husband? The dog, Putin's like, oh, he's no longer alive. Yeah. You know what? He said he didn't want to be woke anymore. He's no longer woke. It's the biggest joke. I said, well, that's MAGA for you. That's MAGA for you. Because they think they are, oh my God. Because they think they are so smart, ladies and gentlemen. These folks really think they're intelligent. And every day they've revealed they're not the brightest people on the planet. And they don't mind crossing over peacefully into the afterlife on behalf of their dear leader. And so with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, and there's a reason why I told that story. What we'll do is we're going to start this show off with just a bit of a nice little update from our good friend Pete Buttigieg, all right? One of Donald Trump's arch nemesis, and he has a message for every single one of us. He talks about what comes next. So let's just go ahead and give Brother Pete a little bit of our time, if you don't mind.
I hope that you've been having a great holiday season and that you are geared up for a big 2026. If you're anything like me, as one year comes to an end and you're getting ready for the next, you start reflecting a lot on what's happened in the last year. And obviously, for all of us who care about the course of our country, 2025 has been a big year to deal with. I'm thinking a lot about how it felt 1 year ago as we were wondering what 2025 would be like. Many of us thinking about how bad it could get. And then seeing this administration come to power and watching many things in this country get even worse than we could have imagined.
True.
Seeing outrage after outrage, abuse upon abuse, and so many people getting hurt in real ways by the decisions being made in Washington. But then we also saw something else happening more and more as the year went on.
That's right.
More and more people taking to the streets, sometimes by the millions, and things happening in our politics that you wouldn't have thought possible just a few months ago. Even inside the Republican Party, we saw evidence that the president's grip on power was beginning to end.
Yeah.
We saw it on everything from the vote to release the Epstein files to what happened in Indiana redistricting.
Oh.
And then we saw election results happening, not just on the East Coast, but in places like the South, with Democrats performing better than the most optimistic scenarios had considered.
So true.
And I want to say a big thank you because you've been a big part of that.
Thank you.
There have been so many times when we put out the call, from asking many of you to show up at a rally in the State House in Indianapolis to speak out against the redistricting plan, to the many times that you have contributed to our efforts at Win the Era, to times that you've responded when we encourage you to speak out online or just talk to people in your lives about your values and about how you feel about what's happening in this country. Clearly, that is making a difference. And what that means is we have an opening right now.
That's right.
For 2026 to be a year of dramatic and positive change in this country.
And Pete, I just want to say thank you so much. Because 2026, it will be that as long as we continue to eradicate these MAGA demons from the United States of America. And Nutty had an offer. Any Trump, I can ask Nutty, but we had a standing offer. Any Trump voters that want to go to Russia, trust me, send us a guest request. We'll get you there. We'll send you straight there. All right, so that's a nice little warm message from our good friend Pete Buttigieg. All right, but now I want to get into some MAGA business, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know if you all are aware of this, but the Attorney General of the United States of America, you can go look her up on X. She posted a chart and she got roasted about this chart that she posted. And many of you don't know what she did. I'll summarize it real quick and then we'll go straight to God's judgment. So she put a chart up that provided statistics about, she says, since day one, the Trump administration and this Department of Justice have been fighting to end the rug epidemic in our country. President Trump closed the border. DOJ agents have seized hundreds of millions of potentially lethal F doses. We are aggressively prosecuting. And I think she actually posted this. If I can get it up here. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This shows the sheer incompetence going on in the highest level of the United States government. I've been apologizing to people all over the world. I apologize that we're subjecting all of you to this level of ignorance because I personally have no clue who's running the United States of America right now. I know Donald Trump is too sick to be doing it. You can see it because he got all these holes in his hands. The man can't even talk in complete sentences. So who's running America, right? So Ted Lieu and several other great patriots, but I'm only going to read what Ted Lieu says, and then we're going to go straight to judgment. He goes, Dear A.G. Pam Bondi, the chart you provided ends in October of 2024. You got to be something kind of special to even do this. Thank you for unintentionally giving massive credit to Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden got these people cooked. As much as I get upset with Joe Biden and Merrick Garland, I have to say, he has done something incredible. He has occupied the minds of every MAGA demon. And he did it in under 4 years. They can't do anything without thinking about President Biden. And I go, what the heck did Joe Biden do to y'all? I don't know what this man did, but they got Biden derangement syndrome at the highest level. I've never seen Joe Biden cook like this. This man then went on and he's fighting cancer, pardoned his son. He didn't got in and out of the White House. They can't get past this man. Also, when are you going to stop violating federal law and provide the unredacted Epstein files? Then he goes on to say this, LOL, the truth hurts, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was glazing Donald again with another lying sociopathic tweet, but the chart she attached stopped in October of 2024, thus showing the great work done by Joe Biden. She later deleted the tweet, but here's the screenshot. So what we got is evidence that Pam Bondi, and some call her Scam Blondie, has no idea what she's doing in her job while she continues to break the law and not release the Epstein files. Because that's all we need you to do with that tax money that we're paying you, Pam. Release the Epstein files because you're not doing anything else. So what I'm going to do is this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to do it with great pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire, all right, once again. And this goes to Pam Bondi, who continues to cover up for her dear leader and his relationship with the most notorious pedo in the United States of America's history. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending Pam Bondi straight to hell. How angry today.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, that's a huge W, Zeus. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is there's an update came from the New York Times. DJ, I really hope you're here, DJ, because I'm going to continue to just minister to your soul, DJ, until I get doggone tired. I'm going to keep doing it because you know what? I'm meditating on DJ right now, and that's the worst thing you could ever want in your life is to have Big Zeus meditating on you. And it's not really DJ, it's the demon. It's the demon in DJ, ladies and gentlemen. And so now we're going to go to these boat strikes that Donald Trump have been doing in the Eastern Pacific and in the Caribbean. One of the major issues that I've had about these boat strikes, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't like the idea that you're just randomly unaliving people because of rugs. If that's really what you're doing, right? You say that those rugs could unalive Americans. Well, we have enough equipment and assets where you could just simply seize the boat and take the people off and prosecute them. You don't need to destroy these people and eliminate them. That's evil. That's a sin. And I know a lot of you Christians don't know what sin is, but you should go look it up. W Zeus, all right? It's a sin. You shouldn't be unaliving innocent people. And you can't prove that they're guilty until you prosecute them. So they're innocent until proven guilty. So they're saying that there's physical evidence in the Caribbean that the boat strikes that were washed up, they contain rugs, but not the rugs that Donald Trump has been saying. It's the rugs that are, they call it the grass, the green stuff that grows, the natural green plant. That's what they're saying they found on those boats, ladies and gentlemen. So I got to send Donald Trump and his administration straight to hell because if you read, okay, we got flagged for gifts for 10 minutes. I don't know why that happened, so that's a good sign. Hey, they flagged for the gifts. They flagged for the gifts, not for the views. All right, so we'll stick to this. We'll keep moving, ladies and gentlemen. So in this story, ladies and gentlemen, they found boats and they have found body parts, ladies and gentlemen, and all the evidence they say it's sad that they only found things that are legal. But one of the things that stood out in this story, ladies and gentlemen, is they're saying that the people, I'm going to read this to you, the people that are in this area, that go and fish in these waters, they say they will no longer eat the fish or any animal that they usually get out of the water because now there's concerns that they don't want to eat the animals that may have eaten human beings. Think about this. The people, it has downstream impacts. All right, and you can see the wreckage right there. Look at that. They got the wreckage right there. Imagine bodies floating on the ocean. They wash up on shore. You see things like this. And then you know in the background who's doing it right there. That's the United States right there. Unaliving innocent people. And then the people that go out and fish, they don't want to eat any of the fish anymore because the fish may have, or the sharks and anything like that, they could have eaten some of these people. Who wants to do that? This is an environmental hazard. This is disgusting, and this is evil. And every single one of you Trump voters that put this demon, he's a certified demon. You put this demon, this evil individual in the White House, and now the United States is implicated in war crimes that none of us want to be implicated in. And instead of you holding this guy accountable, you want to sit up there and chase Governor Walz in the state of Minnesota for some stuff that Joe Biden already took care of. So what I'm going to do, and I don't mind doing it, ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that once again I do this. It's the end of the year, but someone has to do this. Playtime's over, MAGA. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire once again for these MAGA demons. Y'all all, trust me, every single one of you Trump voters that voted for Donald Trump, there's a special place for you in hell. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Look at what you've done to this great country of ours. You demons. You heathens. There's nothing Christ-like about any of you. I've yet to meet an honest Trump voter. I've yet to meet one. And I know what every single one of you are all going to do when the dust settles. And we have our version of the Nuremberg trials. By the way, Kabira, thank you for recommending that I go watch that. When we have our version of the Nuremberg trials, I pray that I get to be one of the jury, on the jury. I don't need any evidence about it. All I'm going to do is say, did you vote for Trump? Yes. Okay. If you voted for him in 2016, I'll say, you know what, it is what it is. I don't want to deal with you. But if you are a double or a triple Trumper, you got what do we need you for? What do we need you for? I'll give you an option. I'll give you, okay, you don't want that? Then maybe I'll let Elon send you to Mars. Because it's a stain on this country that we really didn't need to have. And if you thought you were going to try to win people over to being Christians, well, that's never going to happen because a lot of us are sitting back going, well, if this is what being a Christian is, allowing Donald Trump to unleash violent people into the United States of America, you know what he did when he pardoned those 1,600 demons that beat up law enforcement on January 6th. Remember that? You know, and then gave them jobs to go work for ICE. Then I don't want anything to do with being in your so-called religion. Y'all some sick folks. Sick. All right, so what I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen. So this is an example of what I mean when I say these folks are sick. This is a MAGA demon, and I posted a video of it. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention to these demons now singing a brand new song. It's all of a sudden, in 2024, every single one of them, they were singing the same hit song. The Democrats are bad. Donald Trump needs to get in. That was the hit record, Close the Border. Now they're not singing that song. They're not singing that song. They're singing the song Democrats have been singing all of a sudden. Why? Listen to this demon try to throw Donald Trump under the bus. Andy Frisella, he goes off on Donald Trump. If he doesn't start arresting people, he will go down as the man who had the opportunity to save this country and chose not to. Listen to this demon.
We are being, not only are we being lied to, we're at the highest degree. And on top of it, we're being the dollars that we work our fucking asses off to produce for our families. They are taking those dollars, they are bringing in people that fucking hate us, and then they are paying them to be here. And if that doesn't piss you the fuck off, dude, I don't know what will.
I'll tell you. The fact that you didn't vote for Vice President Kamala Harris, that's what does it for me. That you didn't do your homework and research that Donald Trump was an immoral person and that everything he was promising you, for him to keep those promises, he would have to be a man that had morals because your word is your bond. If the person is promising you things but they are an immoral person, then that is evidence they will not deliver on what they promised you because they are a liar. I'm more mad at you. At least Donald Trump made it clear he was a demon. He even made it clear he doesn't even think he needs forgiveness. And y'all thought he was joking. Y'all thought he was joking.
We're being lied to. We're being exploited at the highest degree. And then on top of it, we're being replaced with the dollars that we work our fucking asses off to produce for our families. They are taking those dollars, they are bringing in people that fucking hate us, and then they are paying them to be here. And if that doesn't piss you the fuck off, dude, I don't know what will. Because I'm going to tell you this, dude, I've worked my fucking ass off for damn near 30 motherfucking years trying to create jobs and careers and build income and wealth and done all this shit. And these motherfuckers are opening up a daycare and getting 10 million fucking dollars?
All that cursing, all that profanity, and you ain't said a doggone thing. You haven't taken any accountability for your ignorance in the middle of this. You are complicit. Every single one of you Trump voters. You are complicit. And it's not even the end of the first quarter with your dear leader. And you demons are running scared. Thought y'all were alphas.
This is fucking insane, dude.
With no kids.
If this isn't the breaking point for everybody to stand the fuck up and say enough, then our country is fucking doomed. Period. Period. Period.
Just fragile.
Okay? Donald Trump needs to feel all the fucking smoke over this. All of it.
Oh.
Okay? He needs to feel all of it over Israel.
Oh.
He needs to understand that he is violating the promises that he has made to the American people. Okay? I've always been a guy that has given that man tons and tons and tons of benefit of the doubt. But at this point in time, that shit is fucking over.
Oh.
And every single motherfucker that ever voted for him or stood with him needs to let him fucking know.
Oh.
He needs to let him hear it.
Oh.
Because, dude, I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't do something about this, and he doesn't start arresting motherfuckers, and he doesn't hold people accountable for the Epstein shit, and for this shit, and for all the fraud, and all the raping that's been going on in the American taxpayer for fucking decades, he will go down, and not as the best president, he will go down literally as the man who had the opportunity to save this country and chose not to.
Andy. You ought to unplug that studio you're in and hang it up, champ. You ought to hang it up because you sitting here crying over your dear leader, it makes you look weak. It makes America look weak. How dare you turn your back? Hey, Donald Trump, you have another content creator criticizing you. Please send Kash Patel and DOJ to go to his house and get him. You can't have dissent in your cult. You can't do it. He's ruining everything. You got to go get him. I told on him. I just told on you, Andy. It's only y'all haven't even made it out of the first quarter and your dear leader has y'all hitting the panic button. What a joke. How could anyone listen to these people? Seriously, how could anybody be listening to any of these content creators on the right at this moment? They led every single one of y'all to this place. And it was the place all of us Democrats, all of us real independents, all of us real Republicans, the ones you call rhinos, we all told you this place was going to happen and be, and it was going to exist. We told you. Kamala Harris told you. Now you got to get your whooping. And I'm here for it. W. Zeus. I'm here for it. All right. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I got another crybaby out here. I catch him. I don't even think you go. Because, hey, Santana, nice to see you. We're at a point right now, especially on social media, when Donald Trump won that election, any Trump voters want to come up here and they would get in here. We won. We have a mandate. Blah, 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 blah. Now they ain't saying anything. You can't even get a Trump voter. You can't even get a real Trump voter to get up here and talk to you about what's going on in America. Because the moment you start talking about them and you start putting their feet to the fire, they crash out and bring up, guess who? Joe Biden. Joe Biden. What? Y'all still worried about Joe Biden? So we got MAGA content creator after MAGA content creator. They're scared. They're running. They're panicking. They don't know what to do right now, except for try to steal Democrat talking points to try to make themselves seem credible. But I'm going to expose that. Let's listen to this other content creator. Who does this? Bethany O'Leary. You can go look her up right here, ladies and gentlemen. Bethany O'Leary. Go look these demons up on the internet right now. I'll go look at them. I'll listen to what these demons are saying because I want to expose them.
We're so busy tearing each other apart over left versus right, red versus blue, screaming over culture war bullshit 24/7, while the real enemy is sitting in these marble buildings in Washington, D.C. laughing in our faces because they're robbing us blind every gosh damn day.
Give me a break.
Trillions of our tax dollars gone. Not on fixing roads, not on fixing schools or education system, not on helping these poor veterans.
She's lying right there. Joe Biden passed all kinds of infrastructure packages and STEM-related funding to help folks get educated in these fields. She's lying her behind off. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is actually providing funding to get these roads and bridges repaired. She's lying. She's lying.
Sleeping on the streets. No. Endless foreign wars that nobody voted for, funneled straight back to defense contractors who funnel millions back to the same politicians who approved the budgets in the first place. Insider stock trades on classified information. Kickbacks disguised as campaign contributions, money laundering through fake nonprofits and shell companies. This is how they live like kings while we barely scrape by. Private jets, multiple mansions, yachts, private chefs, security details that cost more than your house, all paid for by funds that you work hard for, stolen through fraud that they will never be accountable for, that they will never be prosecuted for. Just look at Minnesota right now.
Oh, Minnesota.
Feeding our future scandal. Hundreds of millions, possibly $1 billion stolen through fake daycares. Lake houses, Lambos, luxury trips.
She ain't said not a word about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, has she? She ain't said a word about Kash Patel flying around in that airplane buying Beamers. She ain't said a word about Donald Trump enriching himself. So why is she bumping her gums? What? Oh, I know why. I know why she running her mouth like this. Because this sure ain't the hit song that got Donald Trump and, the hit song Joe Biden and the Democrats securing the border. She ain't singing that same song. The hit song, We Got a Mandate. She ain't singing that song now. She's talking about something else.
All stolen money from taxpayer dollars. Warnings ignored for years. And once again, nobody in jail. That's not an accident. That's the system working exactly as it's designed. For them. They take 40% of your paycheck from your hard labor before you even touch it. Then when you die, they tax your kids on money that you were already taxed on. Death tax. Estate grab. Your legacy? Stolen twice. And we fight each other over things like guns, pronouns, borders, all while these parasites get rich off our blood. And it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Both sides get robbed the same.
It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Both sides get robbed the same. These are the same demons that have been attacking Democrats for the last 8-10 years. Now you want us to try to get along with you because you've had a little bit of an awakening. I don't think you really have had an awakening because I'm listening to your rhetoric, man, and you're still spreading lies and misinformation. And you haven't taken any accountability for what you've done.
Republican fraud, Democrat fraud, same thieves, different jerseys. This isn't politics, y'all. This is the American people versus a criminal class that occupies our government. They want us divided. They benefit directly from us being divided. Burning cities, glued to cable news, fighting each other, hating our neighbors. Because united, we'd be storming the gates with pitchforks.
No, I wouldn't.
Our friend Jesse started it first.
Oh, Jesse?
F it. And the federal income tax.
Oh.
Because why the hell are we funding our own destruction? Our friend Jesse saw it first.
Oh.
He started the F it movement.
F it movement.
And the federal income tax. They're not public servants, y'all.
Oh.
They're parasites. They are mansion-owning, jet-flying, fraud-committing parasites. And we keep sending them back to the feast. No more. Comment EFIT, E-F-I-T, if you're ready to end the theft.
Oh,
And share this everywhere.
okay, I shared
because
it. I shared it.
left, right, blue, red doesn't matter. The only color that matters is green. And that's the green that they're stealing from all of us. America, stop fighting each other. Let's start fighting them before there's nothing left but their laughter and our chains. Let's go.
Oh, what do I do with that? What do I do with that, man? You want us to come together with you and go after the billionaires that got you in this little bit of a predicament? Not gonna happen. And then you brought up somebody named Jesse, and it's an effort movement, ladies and gentlemen. And I guess the new thing for MAGA is don't pay your taxes because the government doesn't represent you. That's the new thing. And I'm going to tell every single one of you Trump voters that are silly enough to actually do that, do not pay your taxes. Don't do it. Just don't even do it. And then let me know what happens to you with your smart selves. Let me know what happens to you, MAGA. When you call the IRS and say, I'm no longer paying taxes. And please, take what Snuggles and all these right-wing influencers have told you. Cite the same statutes, cite the same laws, and come up with the most incredible justification for why you no longer have to pay taxes. I would love to just go and do it. Now, I wouldn't do it, but I understand how you MAGA demons really, really think. So, when she said what she said, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry to drag this out because I wanted to make this point, and I'm going to make this point this morning. She led me to her friend Jesse, who she said started the effort movement. You go look up Jesse's account. I go onto this page, and he has a truck and a Jesus hat with a rainbow on it. I don't know what's going on in the MAGA world right now, ladies and gentlemen. But this is a call. If this was a sign that folks are crying out and saying, help me, MAGA is currently crying out for help right now because nothing that they are doing makes any sense. If they were in their right minds, they wouldn't be falling for these things and they would be demanding Donald Trump and Pam Bondi simply release the Epstein files. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about in the United States of America right now except for why is the president and his attorney general breaking the law of the land? A law that was passed with unanimous support. You can't sit here and go after people in any other jurisdiction about breaking the law when the president of the United States of America is breaking it in front of everybody. What's the purpose of having laws? So he could be a fraudster, he could be an oath breaker, but everyone else has to follow the law? Give me a break. So let's listen to what Jesse had to cry about. And I'm going to get to judgment, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time to admit we're all being played. As a business owner and employee, I start my day at 4 a.m., preparing for a 10, 12, 14-hour day to take on all the risks, figure out how to build my operation, how to reinvest in my company, to make sure every one of my employees has a secure and stable job to provide for themselves and their families. Nowhere during this process is the government present. I don't see the government when I'm working late, solving problems, making sure my...
I'm going to stop this lie. To every single one of you silly, simple-minded demons out there that keep spreading this lie that you don't see the government present when you're out there making money, zip it. The United States government, it doesn't do just things that you think they do. They provide funding for your research. Yeah, you could go look this stuff up. They help find cures for some of the diseases that are out there. You don't know this because you're not that intelligent. They help you get the roads and the bridges. They help the airplanes fly. They help make sure, the food you eat is good. So it's amazing to me that y'all come up with these conclusions that you don't see the government helping you when the government's there the whole time. Y'all the same party that says less government, but you sure don't mind sending the government in when a woman is trying to exercise her right to, do whatever she wants with her body. Y'all are the biggest hypocrites. That's why I say, how could anybody listen to these people? How could anyone listen to these right-wing influencers?
Customers are taken care of. I don't see them when revenue is slow or when expenses are piling up. Yet the moment income is generated, they show up. twice a month,
Wow, Jesse.
taking half of the currency we made. We're the ones trading our time, our labor,
Wow.
rain or shine, only to be strong-armed into giving up half of what we've earned. Something that should go entirely to our families. This goes on throughout the year, us being responsible for keeping records of every cent we've earned. And at the end of the year, it's my responsibility to prepare all the documentation for them to review. They then determine if their cut was large enough. If I don't meet their schedule, I face fines, fees, the threat of being thrown in one of their cells, on top of losing everything I earned.
Oh,
We've been conditioned to accept this as taxation, but this doesn't fit my definition.
your definition.
To me, this sounds more like fraud,
Oh,
embezzlement,
Oh.
and fucking slavery.
oh, slavery.
And I think it's past time we all stop participating.
Okay, Jesse said he feels like he's a slave. He feels like he's the victim of slavery. See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all really go above and beyond to make yourselves victims. Hey, Jesse, you're a white guy in America. Trust me, you have no clue what real slavery is right now, riding around in your pickup truck with that Jesus hat. All right? Knowing ICE won't do anything to you. Zip it, Jesse. Wow. Ultimate victims, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I say, how could anybody listen to these demons and say, like, these folks are really, really credible? Jesse reminds me of somebody that I said at the top of the show who should just move to Russia. He should just, Jesse, move to Russia so you don't have to be around Democrats anymore. I promise you, you won't be woke anymore. Now, what I want to do is say this in all seriousness. And this is why these right-wing influencers are doing this. And they're going to get mad at me for sharing this information. But I felt like, you know what, let's go ahead and get this information out there so that folks don't continue to fall for the okie doke while they're running around here with acting like chickens with their heads cut off about fraud in Minnesota. This has to do, ladies and gentlemen, with what's going on with right-wing influencers in the United States right now. Some of you may have noticed it, but you just couldn't quite put your finger on it. But I'll explain to you what's happening. As we close the year in 2025, with Donald Trump clearly as the president of the United States, we have to look at what's happening with these right-wing influencers who once tricked millions of people into supporting Donald Trump in the MAGA movement. Many of these voices played a significant role in the 2024 election, mobilizing audiences with prominence of unwavering loyalty to America's first principles. Yet, in the months since Donald Trump was inaugurated, a clear pattern has emerged: substantial audience erosion, followed by calculated pivots designed not to uphold integrity, but to recapture lost influence through division and sensationalism. Consider the evidence. Prominent figures. Uh-oh, my gifts got suspended again. Wow, this is, oh wow, ladies and gentlemen, TikTok is on a roll. Please don't do it again. They suspending the gifts, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Well, it's only a 10-minute suspension, so we'll survive, but we'll move on. Consider the evidence. Prominent figures have experienced measurable declines in engagement and followership. Oh, so you mean a lot of you right-wing influencers are losing viewers? Tim Pool, for instance, has seen his viewership plummet amid widespread Trump fatigue, as his close alignment with the administration failed to sustain interest in a post-election environment. Charlie Kirk's, his X account suffered a notable drop as well. Roughly 0.4% of his base stemming from backlash over internal conservative disputes. Ben Shapiro's podcast ratings have slipped, with reports of around 20,000 subscribers lost this year. Oh! Broader metrics reveal an average of a 30% decline in likes across right-wing influencers' content since January of 2025. Attributed to diminished political urgency and the unmet expectations on issues like fiscal restraint and immigration policy. Even influencers from the manosphere, like Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Andrew Schultz, and Aiden Ross, who boosted Trump's campaign have publicly distanced themselves, citing disillusionment with actions like expanded war funding and aggressive enforcement measures. In response to these losses, many of these influencers have pivoted strategically to regain credibility and audiences. Rather than engaging in honest self-reflection and constructive dialogue, they have turned to insurgent tactics. Candace Owens, for example, has surged in YouTube subscribers, gaining over 2.2 million this year by amplifying unsubstantiated conspiracy theories, including questionable narratives surrounding the tragic unaliving of Charlie Kirk, implicating intelligence agencies, foreign interests without any evidence. Others have intensified criticism of U.S. foreign policy, particularly towards Israel and interventionism, framing the administration as a compromise and being compromised by external influences to appeal to isolationist or far-right segments. Intra-movement attacks have become commonplace. Figures accuse fellow conservatives of being grifters or frauds, fueling public feuds that prioritize personal branding over unity. Some have retreated to non-political culture critiques, masking policy disappointments as principle standards. These shifts are not born of genuine conviction, but of opportunism. When alignment with power no longer yields engagement, these influencers resort to controversy, spreading unverified claims, like what you see what's happening in the state of Minnesota. This is what they got to do now to get the clicks and the views. Exacerbating division within the conservative movement and exploiting fears to rebuild their platforms. This behavior undermines the very principles that they once professed to be what? Truthful, honest, accountable, and unity. It goes completely against all of that. These folks will do anything, ladies and gentlemen, to try to save their platforms. And that's what this is all about. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Big Zeus. Oh, I won that. All right, my gifts. I won that appeal with the gifts. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just use this guy, Andy. Join me in warming up the lake of fire for every single one of these right-wing influencers who are now singing a different song because they're losing views, because the truth is out that their dear leader is the worst of the worst and the scum of the earth, and they're going to go right down the drain with them. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. Anybody that still believes in these right-wing influencers, you deserve this too. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon!
I told you there was a reason that I was carrying on that long. W Uncle Rocker. Now, what I want to talk about next, ladies and gentlemen, this has to do with Lauren Boebert, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out Donald Trump is retaliating against Lauren Boebert. Don't they look so happy together? So this is the before picture, but you know what Lauren Boebert did to make Donald Trump very upset? W. Kabira. You want to know what Lauren Boebert did? She voted to have the Epstein files released, all right? And so because she did that, Donald Trump is now punishing her. So let's go ahead and get this on the record, ladies and gentlemen.
Against Colorado for keeping Tina Peters in prison on her election system tampering conviction. And he is following through again. Thanks for being with us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Kyle Clark. President Trump threatened, quote unquote, harsh measures for Colorado. And today we learned the president has vetoed a bill to fund a major drinking water project here. It is the first veto of his second term. This pipeline project passed through Congress unanimously. The Arkansas Valley Conduit was first promised by President John F. Kennedy. It's supposed to bring clean drinking water to dozens of communities on the eastern plains between Pueblo and Lamar, areas where the well water is often salty and deep wells can draw up radiation. Construction finally started on this long-awaited project a few years ago, but costs doubled due to inflation and labor expenses. President Trump says he is vetoing that funding to save taxpayers money.
And I News reporter Spencer Schweitzer is joining us. Spencer, bipartisan, unanimous vote in Congress, bipartisan support in Colorado, and the project's in the reddest Republican district in Colorado, represented by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, Rep. Boebert argued this is a non-controversial bill and that she has a hard time believing this is not political retribution against Colorado and her for when she stood up to the Trump administration to force the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Oh. So this is Lauren Boebert when everything's all on the up and up. This is typical MAGA. And this is why I bring I bring some demons into the box, because I want it on record that they did these things. Because I promise you, when this is all said and done, all these people who voted for Donald Trump, they will deny they ever voted for this man. They will say, no, I didn't even vote. That's the new lie you'll hear people, but you can tell the way that they talk, they're Trump voters. You can tell the way that they talk. All right. So this is Lauren Boebert back when it was all good in the hood. This is Lauren Boebert now after Donald Trump had kicked her to the curb like he's doing Marjorie. Yeah, she has to go back to her constituents and say, yeah, Daddy said y'all can't have any clean drinking water. Imagine being in her position. They put her in there to get, we voted for you because we think you'll stand up for us. But then she has to go back and say, Daddy said y'all can't have any clean drinking water. Why? Because I voted to have those Epstein files released. See, this is what happens when you make your bed with the devil. And this is why I tell you, Trump supporters, you should be thanking me for being this honest with you. And not just me. I have a lot of friends on this app that help me with making you honest and accountable, but y'all don't want to listen to us. So now y'all got to find out the hard way. Listen to Lauren Boebert.
Access to clean water should be fundamental for us.
Every member of Congress signed off on funding the Arkansas Valley Conduit, a 130-mile pipeline providing clean drinking water from Pueblo to Lamar.
It appears that nothing is safe.
President Trump vetoed the bill, sponsored in the House by one of his most loyal supporters, Republican Rep. Lauren Boebert.
I think it's very unfortunate that President Trump chose a bill that provides clean water to 50,000 Southeast Coloradans to veto.
But the president threatened punishment for Colorado if it wouldn't release convicted election clerk Tina Peters. And Boebert just recently stood up to the Trump administration to force the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
The president never promised that there would be retribution for me taking a stand and holding corrupt individuals accountable on the Epstein list.
The president's veto message says he vetoed the water project because of cost. Boebert questions if it's really political retribution.
It kind of makes you want to step back and say, well, what's really going on here?
She doesn't take issue with punishing Colorado over immigration policy, climate research, or Tina Peters, but draws the line at the water project in her district.
We're talking about Southeast Colorado, who's overwhelmingly voted for President Trump in the last 3 elections.
So, Southeast, according to what Lauren Boebert just said, they all voted for Trump, and Trump is telling his own base they don't need clean drinking water because of the Epstein files. Haven't I been telling every single one of y'all that a lot of these Trump voters, they won't be around come midterms because Donald Trump is going to actively go after them? It's like that one guy, the limo driver. I posted a video about it, and he made a statement. He said everything Donald Trump does makes sense when you realize he wants to unalive as many people as he can. And I really do believe that's true. I really do believe that Donald Trump is an unaliver. He wants to be able to get away with it, as much of it as he can. He gets off doing it. This is the same guy that said if he stands in the middle of Fifth Avenue and unalives somebody, y'all would still go and endorse him and support him. He was right. if he does anything to any of your daughters or your sons, you'll still support him. That's in him. I'm not shocked. I'm personally not shocked, Lauren Boebert, that Donald Trump is basically saying to his own supporters, he doesn't need you. Because he already told you after the Epstein thing, he doesn't need your vote anymore. He already told you. But problem is this. Y'all think Donald Trump is being funny, but he's not being funny. He's being serious when he says that stuff. And y'all keep making excuses for it.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are sick.
Yeah.
See, that ain't funny.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Every time y'all laugh at what he say, it gets darker and more dangerous in that cult. If somebody said that around me, we're done talking. You a sick individual. I don't want that bad juju. I don't want none of them demons thinking I'm a vessel to occupy because you got something going on with the devil I want nothing to do with. And so what I'm going to do is this, ladies and gentlemen. Since Lauren Boebert has just acknowledged that these people that Donald Trump said don't need clean drinking water are Trump voters, and she is also a Trump voter, she put the demon back in the White House. Should I send them to hell, ladies and gentlemen? Should I send these demons that voted for Donald Trump to do this to them? Should I send them straight to hell? Let me ask the audience, because I could be. People say I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but they're saying that I should. Unfortunately, I got to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, join me once again in warming up this lake of fire. This is what I mean when I say the MAGA movement is the worst of the worst of the scum of the earth, and it will be a permanent stain on American history. Join me in sending these demonic, evil Trump supporters straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA.
I want to try to get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well.
You're not going to make it. W Zeus. W Zeus, all right? That's seriously. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, that concludes my monologue. I had more, but, I got to break up my show the way that I normally do. You all in the audience deserve a huge round of applause. I'm so sorry to drag this out, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to do this because I got to remind folks out here, don't fall for the distraction right now. The real crisis in America right now is that Donald Trump is breaking the law and his entire administration is breaking the law. And they keep trying to scapegoat minorities to distract us from that reality. If the President of the United States of America and his own Attorney General and his Secretary of Defense can get away with breaking the law, yeah, we have a constitutional crisis. These are the same people that framed a man, innocent man, Abrego Garcia, Maryland man, and they lied to the American people and told us this man was, affiliated with people he wasn't affiliated with and sent him to a very nasty place. Some people call it a war crime where he sent this man. And we find out months later, it was all based on a lie. This is what's happening in America. You have men that used to probably work for Donald Trump when he was using them to attack the Capitol on January 6th. And now they work for the federal government and they're getting permission to go around and slam women and children on the ground. This is what's going on. And they don't think they have to obey the law, but they think you and I have to obey the law. This is why we have a constitutional crisis. All right, so what we'll do is this. We'll open up the boxes, ladies and gentlemen. No lies detected. Thank you. If you're still supporting Donald Trump right now, it's your business. It's your prerogative. My thing is this. Why don't get back to singing that old song you were singing? Sing the this is a mandate and this is what I voted for tune. That's to me that's the best hit record MAGA had. This is what I voted for. We have a mandate. Sing it, and that's all I want to hear. If you get in here and you start talking about what Democrats are doing in Minnesota, half of you don't even know where Minnesota's at. I don't want to hear that. No, because the first thing I want to ask you is, when did you become an expert in terms of grant management and fund management? When was the last time you actually participated in an audit? Do you run the business? Has your business been audited? Show us. You don't want to have those conversations with us, all right? Gotta bring up my good friend, Dr. Keisha Davis. Good morning, Doc. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. You?
Hey, it's New Year's Eve. We're about to bring in hopefully a new year that doesn't have all of the stuff that's happened.
Yeah. Well, that's being wishful. You're being very, very wishful. I mean, but I was thinking about asking you. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to say first, but then I'll save my question.
Well, I wanted to tell you, people in the chat, and you've been wondering, where a particular group of people are. And you know where they probably are?
Where?
They're probably homesick with the flu.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're either in the hospital or sick with the flu. That's probably where they are. Or measles, because we just surpassed 2012 cases of measles. Shout out to the United States. We're about to bring in the new year, losing our elimination status for measles. Literally, I'm pretty sure it's going to be happening within the next few weeks that we lose our elimination status.
Wow.
In over 30 years, since the 90s, for those of us that know, we have been measles free for over 30 years. And now, thanks to disinformation, thanks to Trump and his buddies, RFK Jr., we have 2012 cases. We have 3 children that have unalived from it. And we have a super flu with less than 30% of the people even getting immunized for the flu.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's contributing to this, based on what you understand?
Oh, to the reason why there's so many cases of flu so bad?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, viruses do this, they mutate. But we've got to be able to trust science to take the shot. We've got to be able to trust science to listen to the experts to get the information out. I mean, you can't go onto the CDC site to look for the FluView anymore. I mean, I put together a resource because so many people are confused where to go. We got Walgreens now that has a respiratory index because you can't find out. You got people that believe in my body, my choice. I'm going to go to the airport or to school sick with the flu, and I don't care. It's just a cold, and I got a fever of 103. It's just it's a perfect storm for nonsense. But the sad thing is, last year was the most unalived, or DEADLY season of the flu.
Yeah.
This year is surpassing it. Go ask France, go ask Canada, go ask UK. What is going on there in Japan, what they're having to do with this variant.
This is sad. This is scary stuff right now. You think, and you're saying this could have been prevented in your opinion?
We can contain things, and people would have got the immunization for measles, for COVID, and now for flu. Yes, it would not be as bad as it is. Now this sucker has mutated, but you remember, because they delayed everything, the committee that's supposed to go and review vaccines was delayed even in their meetings.
Wow.
So I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Is there any upside? Is there anything to look forward to, Doc? Though honestly, because I don't want to put it. It's not you. It just seems to me like you have one group of people that are suffering right now. Like you say, they might have the flu, but they don't understand that their belief system is causing them to suffer. Right?
Yeah.
Is there anything to look forward to in 2026 based on what you're dealing with?
I would look forward to finding y'all friends that trust and believe in science. That's what I could say. I am also looking forward to Representative Haley. She filed the articles of impeachment. I truly think he's gonna go.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's gonna go because they were trying to do more uprooting of the vaccine schedule and damage, and they decided to wait until January to do that. I mean, they've had 5 people over the drug recovery for the FDA.
Yeah.
Research and development for FDA. So I think I think, and I hate to say this, I think that the loss of more children, which we've already lost several children from the flu, by the way, y'all.
Yeah.
There was a colleague that just lost a 14-year-old to the flu. I think that this may be the awakening where finally the few doctors that are in Congress will put their foot down. That we maybe look for. But I mean, we're still here. The people are still doing the right thing. I think it takes us to take care of our own. But the kids of these anti-science people are the ones I feel sorry for.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, you know what, Doc? I just got to say thank you so much for coming up here as always and educating all of us, all right, in terms of what we can do to stay safe out here. Now, are you still going to continue doing your show? Because, you know, you made me sad when you said you're not going to do it anymore.
I mean, you know, your show is great. I think everyone needs to do, in order to continue a show, it requires commitment, but it also requires to see the response, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see the response. Since I have stopped it, I haven't got a message from anyone saying, you know, we missed the show on here. It really requires some feedback to see if it's worth it. But I still have a podcast.
Well, you can always come pivot off of this. You know, maybe that'll help out because I get it. You're extremely busy. And I don't want to distract you with what you need to do. So just, you know.
The podcast, yeah. But listen, today I will. After the show around 11:30, I'm going to do a year in review for here. But check this out. Do you remember the Trey Reed story? Do you remember Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah.
Our amazing friend who's been standing for the rights of people. So he has the Know Your Rights camp. Y'all check out Know Your Rights camp. He does a lot of things for youth. But in that, he has the Colin Kaepernick Autopsy Initiative. Okay? The Colin Kaepernick Autopsy Initiative, they, quote, supposedly have picked up that case, but they also have already done an autopsy of a person in ICE custody that passed away. Oh. They have literally won some legal cases. They have brought closure, and they pay for some of these $13,000 autopsies for family members that have lost somebody in custody, in any type of custody. So that episode came out. All y'all got to do is go to Apple, Spotify, TubeView, and check out the Colin Kaepernick Initiative because it may save somebody's life. It may help a family member provide closure or seek justice for their loved one. And also because of this, they are now investigating. There's a police department they're investigating. Also, people that claim they have done an autopsy on a loved one and they never did the autopsy. It's literally providing all that closure. And don't forget even pew pew violence too. A lot of these things we need to address. So I'm glad that the Autopsy Initiative is doing that. And we had them on the podcast. So we had him, we had Haley Stevens on the podcast. So that's what y'all can do is share. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we're going to share it. We're going to continue to promote it and encourage you to keep doing what you do because it's necessary and it just takes time, I think, for people to warm up and understand how important what the work you're doing is. All right. But you always have a platform here with me, Big Zeus. All right, Doc. I appreciate you.
Wait, you said you had another question.
Well, you answered it. It was about the measles.
Oh, okay.
You answered it, so you know W2. You did an outstanding job. I mean, you must have been reading my mind. You got like a special superpower or anything like that because, I don't know how you did it, but we appreciate you. Now, people are asking, and you know what? I think we'll do it. You could come back up, Doc, but I got to restart the live because I've gotten into trouble. All right, and we'll come up. You'll come back up. We'll finish our conversation. All right, I got to restart the live, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, everyone's saying gifts are suspended, and I don't want you to miss out on your blessing. All right, so I'm going to restart it. All right, I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you are following this account. I'll explain it when I get back. All right,